So thanks again, everyone, for joining us today for our third installment of Coffee with Kusini. We are recording this webinar, so you'll find it on our YouTube channel later today. You can share it with your colleagues. If you miss any of it, you can go back and check it out later. And today we are going to be focused on Uganda. We've got Lyndsay Lundgren from Classic Africa Safaris joining us to take us through some, exciting new developments in Uganda. Some related to the low season with new discounted low season permits, some new properties, some new conservancies. There's a lot going on in Uganda these days, Lynn. So I thought
There is.
it'd be great to have you come in and tell us all about it. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you. We'll take questions in the chat at any point. Just pop them in there, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end as well. But Lyndsay, over to you.
Thank you. I don't know, since I'm on my phone, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to see the chats easily, Tad. So just
Yeah, we'll
keep
take
that in
care of
mind.
the chat
Yeah.
side. Gretchen and
Okay.
I've got it.
Okay. Cool. Hi, everybody. Long time no see for some of you. I'm in Seattle currently, so I have my coffee. So let's get started. Lots of cool stuff going on in Uganda right now. Todd's controlling the presentation, so hopefully that works okay. There's the team. Not really anything hugely different. Phil's still based in Thailand. So there he is with his family. Mandy handles Rwanda. So I know a lot of you work with her. And then I handle Uganda and some trips going into Rwanda. And then there's the gals in the office and the vehicle workshop team, which a lot of you know, we have over 50% women mechanics in the workshop, which is really cool. And then Mel heads operations and the vehicle team, and he's based in Entebbe. Just a little bit on our vehicles. We run a full fleet of Safari modified. We modify them actually in the workshop. We bring them in from usually from Dar, from Tanzania. And Mel heads that. So they're really comfortable. Uganda still, there is a better flight network than there used to be for sure, but there's still a lot of driving, which I actually think is kind of cool because Uganda is really scenic. It's really beautiful. All the bells and whistles, those 3-point seat belts, coolers, air conditioning, they are low jacked and tracked on a tracking app at all points in time, which is really nice too. And pop tops the front and the back. So even if somebody's seated by the driver, they still have the pop top. And it's captain's chairs, so there's no middle seat as usual. But they're good. They get the job done for sure. And actually, and we're 100% carbon neutral, so all your clients' trips are offset. So I think most of you probably know by now, Uganda just launched low season primate permits, and those apply to standard gorilla treks and chimp trekking. It didn't change chimp trekking in Kibale, I should say. It didn't change anything with golden monkeys or Chambora in terms of the low season rates. So April, May, November, we now have permits for 600. This is starting immediately. 600 for gorillas for standard trekking and 200 for standard chimp trekking in Kibale, which is morning and afternoon treks. So currently UA is saying that the permits can't be rescheduled. We're kind of looking at that on a case-by-case basis. So, obviously for you folks that work with us, you know that we do everything we can to move permits around. We can change names on permits, which is really valuable. But now we have to have payment in full to secure permits. And then regular non-low season and the habituation experience, I'll talk about those. Tad, is there a slide for regular permit prices? No? Okay. So regular permit prices, I'm going to run through those really quick and we will send a follow-up. So the habituation experience, which is 4 people maximum in the group size, currently is 1,500. It's increasing to 1,800 next year. And there's no low season pricing for the habituation. You get up to 4 hours with the gorillas. So the group size is much smaller and you have significantly longer. Your clients need to be fit. It's pretty challenging. This only takes place in the Rishaga sector. So the best options for accommodations, mid-range Chameleon Hill is the closest, high-end luxury Clouds is the closest. So kind of keep that in mind. And then in terms of regular primate prices, not low season, the standard chimp trek is going to be 300 per permit. The chimp habituation in Kibale is going to be 400. The Chambora Gorge permits, which the chimp sightings have gotten a lot better there. They're still probably, I don't know, maybe 60, 65% success rate. Those permits are 200. They went up from 100. And then lion tracking, we're going to talk about, there's a lion tracking slide. This has gone up to 500 per person in 2027. So keep that in mind. And it's apparently going to be very challenging to cancel or rebook. So keep that in mind when you are considering that for your clients. We're not going to be able to have a lot of flexibility with that experience. So,
Linz, I know this has become really popular in Queen Elizabeth.
yeah,
It's probably why they're now increasing the rates.
yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
um, can you just talk a little bit more about what the experience is like and the success rate of seeing predators, lions, I know leopards as well.
Yeah,
The value of that $500, is it worth $500 now, in your opinion?
I don't know.
That's an on-the-spot
Don't
question, but
don't don't shoot the messenger. So here's the deal. So it is a tracking project. It's a legit tracking project. The cats, leopards, and lions are collared, and they use telemetry. You can see in that upper left-hand photo. I don't know the technical term for that gadget, but the telemetry gadget. And what happens is all the vehicles who have signed up that day, which maybe now if it's going to be at 500 a person, there will be fewer people doing it. That may be self-selecting, which could be a good thing. But all the vehicles show up at the headquarters, and classic, we try to get there on time and early to get the best access to the researcher. Rangers have to come into the vehicles, and the researcher has the gadgetry, and you go out into the park. So the plus of going backwards, sorry, this doesn't mean that the researcher is in the vehicle with your clients. There could be 15 vehicles going out to do this that day, depending on the season, depending on the day, whatever. So it's a little bit of a rolling the dice where the researcher is. But from my personal experience, I don't know that having the researcher in the vehicle necessarily changes anything, because they're definitely very science-oriented people and not always the most social. So that may or may not matter to your clients. They think it might matter, but when it actually happens, it might not matter. But what it means is you get to go off-road in Queen, which makes a really big difference. And you are, I mean, I suppose there are no guarantees technically, because it is still a wildlife experience, but it would be really, really strange if they didn't find the cats that are collared that day. So yes, it's worth it in that aspect. I think it depends on where else your clients are going on their trip. If they're doing a greater Uganda safari, are they going to Murchison? Are they going to Ishasha sector? Where are they going? And we can look at that. And then also if they're doing a mid-length Uganda itinerary and going to Kenya or Tanzania or elsewhere, what are they doing? So I think as you have inquiries, we can talk about it. And obviously with the rate going up, we'll see how many vehicles are attending on a daily basis and kind of keep you informed. So, but going off-road in Queen Elizabeth, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about the private concessions now, but if your clients are not staying in one of those concessions, being able to go off-road is I think of great value. So, and then also we've got 2 new properties. There are other properties, but I'm going to talk about Mirima in Kibale and Kulu Ora and Murchison. So Mirima is going to be about 30 minutes from the park headquarters in Kibale, and it is the sister property. Some of you will know Nkaringo Wendy Gorilla Lodge in the southern sector of Wendy. We don't have images yet. It's not opening until June, but the renderings look beautiful, and I think some of you have probably seen Nkaringo. I kind of get mixed service feedback, but the property is really beautiful. And I think with Kibale, your clients are always going to be with a classic guide, and so that will help a lot too. But it is looking beautiful, and they've definitely put some investment money into it. It is set kind of between 2 crater lakes, and I think it's going to be a great option. Pricing low C, you're looking at probably around $700 a person ish. So it's going to be more than Primate and a bit more than Ndali, but quite a bit less than the Volcanoes Kibale Lodge. So that's a really nice price point. It's going to be great to have an option. I think there's 10 cottages and a family villa that sleeps up to 4 people. So that's opening in June. And then Kulu Ora is up in Murchison. It's a sister property to Clouds, so it's under the Wild Places portfolio. Papa's Camp is already open up in that area. They are doing 9 standard tents and a family unit with 2 bedrooms, ensuite bedrooms, and a shared living space. I saw the site when I was there last year. They hadn't started building yet. It's really beautiful. It's very, very remote. From the cutoff where you go to the top of the falls, it takes about, I would say, 2+ hours to drive up to that region. And it's in a low use area. So this is a new thing that's happening, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But going back, so outdoor, they have outdoor tubs, private plunge pools. It is definitely a luxury product that is set to pair itinerary wise with River Station, which is in Queen Elizabeth, and Clouds. Or, Windy Lodge or Gorilla Forest Lodge would also work. You're looking at plus conservancy fees, you're looking at like a low season of probably about $875. These are rates for trade. $875, $850 a night to around $1,500 for high season. So the new conservancies, what's happening now is in conjunction with the national parks, Murchison and Queen specifically, there are new low use zones. So it's not technically a private conservancy in the way that you would find, say, like in the Mara. It is within the national park or within a game reserve, and only certain vehicles have access to it. So it's a much more exclusive experience than you would get if you were in the main part of Murchison. I was up there last year. I really, really liked it. It's very wild and it's hard to access. So it's probably not for everyone. I was talking to Jonathan last week and they're working on putting an airstrip in and servicing that. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But for now, you definitely, I think, want your clients to be repeat Africa clients, which a lot of people going to Uganda are anyway. and definitely want to kind of go at a slower pace. It is not, no matter what you read, please believe me, you cannot do boating from there. The river is insanely wild. The rapids are so loud that when I was at Papa's camp, you have to sleep with earplugs in. So you can't boat. And no matter what you read, it is too far to do the launch trips. It would take all day to go to do the launch trip at the falls or the delta and come back. Your clients would hate you. So we are not doing that. What I would really, really recommend is to do either like 2 nights at Nile Safari Lodge and 2 nights at Kulu Ora, or even 1 night at Nile. If flying up, we can kind of make that work logistically. Kulu Ora for 3 nights and Nile for a night. But we can talk about that kind of on a case-by-case basis.
Lyndsay, what's the game viewing like out in this part of the park versus the area around Now
I
Safari
had
Lodge?
amazing game viewing. It was really good. Phil and Mel and I went up. I mean, we were there for 2 nights, and so it's hard to say how consistent that is. They have 2 resident lion prides in the area. We had really, really good. No leopard. We didn't see leopard at all, but we had really great lion sightings. We saw a journey of probably 35 giraffe. It was one of the most incredible giraffe sightings I've ever had. Lots of good plains game. We did not see elephant. The elephant in that area are very skittish still. I know Wild Places is working really, really hard with anti-poaching units. Jenny, we went, I'm trying to read your, so Kulu Ora is open now. It's taking bookings now. It has been built. And we went in April. Yeah, it was great. I thought it was great. And I think that the exclusivity and sort of the intimate experience really is important. But obviously it has to be for the right clients. Not because of the luxury, but because of the remoteness, I think, and the logistics.
And there's only 2 properties right now in this low use area.
It is only Wild Places that's in there. It's Papa's Camp, which is we don't have pictures of Papa's Camp, but they're in Safari Portal and Watu and everything. And that is a traditional Meru style bush camp on wood platforms. It's really cute. I actually really liked it. And Kulu Ora, and that's it. As far as I understand, no one else is going to be allowed to build in there.
Cool. So Papa's would pair well with something like Honey Bear in Queen Elizabeth, and then, like you said before, Kulu Ora with the River Station. And here's
totally.
our transition to Queen Elizabeth and the Chambora Wildlife Reserve.
Yeah, and then so down in Chambora, which do we have that map? That's easier to explain. Okay, so looking at this, Tad, if you can cursor for me. So the road, some of you will be familiar because you've been there. The road goes through the middle of Queen, and then Katanguru is where the bridge is. And the traditional, we'll call it, Kazinga Channel river cruise is to the left, other way. That way, right? And Mwea, you can see Mwea all the way down in the lower left-hand corner of the map. So River Station and Honey Bear are where the blue pinpoint markers are. So we're below, like if you're facing the river and the 2 properties are behind you, Chambora Gorge is behind you and up the hill, and like the Volcanoes property, Chambora Gorge Lodge is behind you, just for orientation, and you're looking towards the Rwenzori Mountains. So I saw both of the camps. I stayed at River Station and saw both of the camps last year, same thing in April. They're really beautiful. You are same thing in a low use zone area. So there aren't other vehicles. The classic vehicle actually has to park on the other side because access is through the river. And they have a private boat launch kind of right where Tad's mouse, the cursor other side, is so your clients arrive by boat. It feels very wild, which I really like because in Queen Elizabeth that is hard to achieve because there's roads and fishing villages and all of this extracurricular life going on. So it does feel really wild. The game viewing is okay. I think actually for Queen, it's fine. And then they have private boat launches that are just for River Station and Honey Bear guests. They actually brought a dhow in from Kenya. It's so fun, and have a fully functional dhow, and you can do sundowner cruises. I think that it feels very relaxed. River Station has a pool. Honey Bear is the bush camp. River Station, the pool is overlooking a watering hole, which this scene with the elephants, I mean, we saw Phil and Mel went out on a game drive and I had to get caught up on work. So I just stayed and sat and watched by the water hole. And the game viewing was very, very good just from camp. Phil and Mel said when they went out, you see all the crater lakes, the area, the scenery is really, really beautiful. That was last year. We did not see cats. There are more lions in the area now. So I think it's a nice combination of kind of slow down your pace and chill, especially if, say, people aren't going to Murchison and they're doing like Kibale, Queen Elizabeth, and Bwindi. It's a really nice sort of lull in the middle to spend time on the boats, go on the dhow, lays by the pool and watch the wildlife at the water hole. Both properties are really nice. They're well done.
All right, that's the end of the formal presentation, but I have a couple questions for you, Lyndsay. And
Yeah.
if there are other questions, please just pop them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself and raise your hand, and you can have some webinar fame as well if you want. But my question for you, Lyndsay, is going back to the low season permits. Obviously, that's a
Yeah.
big drawing card now for the low season is the $200 discount on gorilla permits, the $50 to $100 discount on chimp permits in Kibale.
Yeah.
What other benefits are there to traveling in those 3 months in the low season in Uganda that you would highlight?
I mean, we have low season rates, all the properties, except there's like a couple that are on year-round rates, and Dolly's on year-round rates. But most properties, April, May, November, you can have a very nice, super affordable trip in Uganda that time of the year. Rain, everybody gets so obsessed with weather, which nowadays is even more unpredictable than previously. But, because Uganda's inland, the weather patterns are different than Kenya and Tanzania. And because of Lake Victoria, we definitely get a lake effect. So Entebbe gets a lot more weather than, say, Kibale or Murchison or Queen. So I wouldn't be as obsessed with weather. And it tends to be that even early June, and June can be rainier in Uganda than, say, April or May. And Bwindi's a rainforest, so you could literally have rain any time of year. So I think people get caught up in that, and that's a negative, inaccurate perception. I mean, of course, it could be really wet, but I think for people who don't care as much and are well-traveled, the savings, you could have a really high-end safari that time of the year for a great price.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we sign off? We're coming in right on 30 minutes as we promised here with our Coffee with Kusini series.
Oh,
So,
you know what else I was going to say? The Asalia property, Arabero, is opening. Sorry, Hilda just told me. Let me see if I can check what she said.
yeah, this is the new Asalia property in Bwindi that's been long awaited and rumored
Yeah.
and delayed.
Yeah. So currently they're saying August 1st. So TBD, stay tuned on that. And I saw the site last year. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So we'll see how that all plays out. I'm sure that there will be developments on gorilla families in that area. But currently it's quite far from everything. So there's that. And then also I did want to mention we have space available on our fam trip in November, which includes a lot of these properties we just talked about. Gretchen is hosting it. And you can shoot her an email if you are interested in joining. We've got some great deals. And if you write us a letter saying how excited you are, we can send it to UWA and maybe they'll give you a free gorilla permit. So they probably will, actually.
It's a great fam trip. And basically, just to utilize this map, since we have it here, it covers, all of the key tourism destinations on the western side of Uganda, Murchison Falls down to Kibale, through Queen Elizabeth, staying at the river station, I believe. Yep. And then to Bwindi, both sides of Bwindi, including the Cross Bwindi Trek, which if you haven't heard of or you haven't experienced is very much worth doing. And Gretchen will get to do it for
It's
her
beautiful.
second time, I believe, right?
Yep. Long time ago, Lyndsay. I think
I know.
13 years ago or something we did.
That trip was fun. That was really funny.
That was a good one.
We made it. We did it. It's a steep uphill when you're going the direction you guys are going. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You'll be
Yep.
fine. You're a hiker.
You got to
That's
finish
awesome.
strong in Nukaringo uphill. Chris Moriarty also knows who's on this webinar. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thanks everyone. Let's see if we have any last minute questions here. Thanks, Gretchen. Gretchen's email's in there. You know where to find us, I think. We appreciate your time and joining us. Lyndsay, thanks for your time and giving us
Yeah.
these exciting updates with Uganda. And we will send out a follow-up with the rates for all of the gorilla permits and chip permits, as well as a link to the recording sometime later this week. So hope you're all well, and thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Lyndsay.
All right. Thanks.